Hello. Good evening. Happy Wednesday, guys. I have my you've dialed 1-900 number voice today. Uh, so it's better than it was. I don't sound fantastic, but I think it probably sounds worse in my own head, but I can hear it. Plus, my ears are still very stopped up. So, so I don't know, but that's what's happening here. Welcome. Missed you guys last week. I guess I've sort of taken a little YouTube vacation, as it were. Really just kind of, doing comments, and I did have to dispute a few things that YouTube's been on a copyright rampage lately. Almost like every video that you post, I've been getting a thing about it, and then they're going through old videos too and putting things, and then they don't even tell you that they're okay again, but they instantly come off after you dispute it. It's just loopy. So I did have to deal with a little bit of that when I was in California, but whatever. But I'm back. I went to California. I survived. They didn't convert me. But Auntie Ann, hello. Lila Newton, hello. Greg, howdy, howdy. What's going on? What's going on? Lori Rowan, love your videos. Thank you, Lori. Clayton Collins says hello. Atasha Lynn, hello. Paul Honeyman, of course. Howdy, howdy. Alyssa Price, what's going on? Glenn and Shannon Salty Life says, hey, everyone. Hello from Mississippi. Well, hello back at you, Clayton, from Mississippi. Big Country coming at you from Texas. What's going on? Billy's also in Mississippi on the coast, of course. David Glunt, what's going on? Welcome back and hello. Thank you, Todd's Adventures. Appreciate you. Brian at the Vineyard Farmhouse. Good evening. What is going on? Our flippin' farmstead. Hello. Yeah, man. It's it was a crazy week. I shared a little bit of it on Sippin' and Spillin' on yesterday, I think. When I had a little bit more of a voice. After, being congested and then flying back on the plane, I could not get my head to depressurize. It was a little bit better the next morning. It's still congested. I don't think I can blame all that on the plane anymore, though. I think it's from just my sinuses being very angry. And I don't think I have like the flu or anything like that. I think it's just like having bad sinuses, because I used to get the nosebleeds and the headaches and the knee in California just because it's so dry. And it started on my second day there. I started to get this and kind of lost my voice for part of a day. And then it's just kind of lingering still. I would have thought maybe by now it would have dissipated a little bit more, but it hasn't completely gone away. I feel a little bit better. Like I have a little more energy now. But I still am blowing my nose. You can ask Mike. I'm blowing my nose like constantly. Just like, yeah, it's fun. So, it is what it is. Clayton says he's 14 miles southeast of Jackson. All right. It's kind of down there in the middle. South of the middle, I guess. So yes, Greg, I am feeling better a little bit. Thank you for asking. I don't sound great, and I'm still have to have these little marathons where I blow my nose for a while, and I've been, doing all the things, but I even was taking some Mucinex. Now I just have a headache. We're fixing to have a thunderstorm tomorrow, and I think the pressure. I got home from church a little while ago, and I was like, man, my head's just kind of pounding, and I took some naproxen because I can tell which type of headache it is. Usually that type of headache, I'll take a naproxen and I'm better, but it should have kicked in by now, and it hasn't. So I guess it's just going to hurt. But I'll be fine. I'll get a good night's sleep tonight, and then, it'll be fine. So I know. Lucky Mike said lost your voice. I know. Yeah, the dryness will do it. But on the flip side, being in the dry weather, my arthritis felt great. So my friend and I were laughing. She's like, if you could just leave your bottom half here and take the top half back to Mississippi, you'd be aces. And I'm like, I know, right? Like, I can't get everything to agree on a climate, apparently. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It's fine. So, but I do, speaking of that, I do go tomorrow for my big shot. So we're gonna see how that goes. My friend Beth's gonna take me because I can't no drivey afterwards because they dope you up before they give you the big shot. I imagine it's gonna feel very similar to having had an epidural. I mean, I would imagine same kind of deal. But then your legs don't work so pretty good afterwards, and then you can't drive because they put you in a twilight sleep, which they didn't offer that for me when I was in the labor. So I don't know. But they insist on it with this. They either give you a Valium or put you in twilight sleep, and I guess I get to pick. So I don't know. I don't know what I'll pick yet. Dealer's choice, maybe. We'll see. But um, but yeah, so I get to go do that tomorrow, and then Beth's gonna drive me back home because I can't drive. So Ridge Life says just got back from PT, taking down old antenna and moving 5 giant boxes of steel for the new gazebo. Nice. That's exciting. Time for a grape cream slush with nerds from Sonic. Ooh, I don't like grape flavored stuff like that. That fake grape flavor. I don't know. I think it comes from because I don't think I minded it when I was a kid. But I think from all my years of working in pharmacy, a lot of like the cough syrups and things that we would have were grape flavored and the like some of the antibiotics were. So it's like the smell of it that I don't like. Ugh. But I like all other kinds. I like real grapes. I just don't like that fake grape flavor. So I'm not a fan. But I hope you enjoy it and enjoy your nerds. And apparently you're 5. But that's okay, Tim. That's all right. Real men don't drink slushies with nerds in them, I hear. They shoot 6.5 Creedmoor, so that's what real men do. But anyway, you might disagree, but they took me off naproxen because it causes stomach issues. Watch for that, Sid. Yeah, so same thing with Motrin. Any NSAID. I worked in pharmacy for 20 years, so any non-steroidal anti-inflammatory can cause stomach issues. You're supposed to eat with it. You're not supposed to take it frequently. And trust me, I do not take it frequently. I should like I should take it a lot more frequently than I do. Weeks will go by and I won't take an NSAID. I will wait till I'm really hurting um, before I take anything. And the last time I took an NSAID was probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I'm pretty good about it with that because I don't like taking stuff if I don't have to. Oh, I like wine, Paul. I like wine. I don't drink it very often, but I do like it occasionally. I haven't had a glass of wine in years, probably. Yeah. Yes, they do. I have proof. I had an epidural with the birth of Emmy, and they all had wait, what? Of Emmy, and they all had told my legs up. Oh, maybe hold your legs up. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't remember them ever having to hold my legs up, but I mean, I was in bed, but then they ended up doing an emergency C-section like however many hours later. So I don't know. I don't really recall. I do remember the epidural being very uncomfortable because I was in hard labor, but I was stalled in it. So I do remember the actual shot being very uncomfortable and trying to really hold still on my side through the contractions. And I do remember after they rolled me back over, there was like 40 doctors and nurses in the room, and Mike was white as a ghost. Apparently, things didn't go well during it. Like everybody's heart rate dropped and everybody panicked. So they called like everybody in the room, and Mike thought we were all going to die. I was oblivious to all this. I was just concentrating on like trying not to move while I was in pain while they were doing it. But everybody lived. It was fine. Nobody broke rule number 1. So everybody lived. Slushies with nerds. I don't. How come Mike didn't do live while you were gone? Because I asked him if he wanted to do one while I was gone. I was like, I even said, I was like, I'll show you. Like, he doesn't ever set up the lives. It's always me. And I was like, you could do it from your phone, or I could show you how to do it from the laptop. But a lot of times he doesn't Exhibit A. He doesn't make it out here on time. So, um, you know, he was like, well, I don't know. And he was kind of stressed and having to take care of everything with me gone. I think it was just one less thing. So he's like, let's just skip the live. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I made Marty a toupee. I did this last night and Frankie thought it was hysterical. As I pet him, I collect hair off of him and then I put it on top of his head. And I make him a little toupee. And I find it amusing. So there's that. When I was in the hospital watching my daughter's birth, the doctor did not think it was funny when I asked if I could get the stirrups to go home. Oh no. But yeah, I think that's why he didn't do it. And then, Frankie doesn't really like, she'll pop into the lives once in a while with me, but she's not a big fan of doing the lives. When she does them, she likes it and she has fun, but then she's like, I don't want to do it. And then she's not even, Wednesday nights, they're back in church now. So now that summer break is over. So, he would have been truly doing it by himself. So Simple Acre Homestead. Hello, all you fine peoples in the chat. Howdy, howdy. So, did you go back to work yet, Tim? Or are you still off? Are you still living the life of Riley over there? Luxuriating, watching other people work? Probably. I don't know. I'm a little behind on your videos. I watched one the other day, but I think it was already a couple days old by the time I saw it. And now I'm behind again. So, Well, can Mike at least watch my premiere tonight? I will tell him when I leave or if he doesn't come out here. Yeah. So Tim, for those of you that don't know, I guess SLR is not going live at 7, I guess anymore, or at least not for tonight. So anyway, Tim is doing his premiere of his shed getting delivered at 7. I will be watching while I drive. Basically, it'll be playing on my phone while I drive to go pick up Frank from church. But Mike should be able to have it running in the background and watch it while he's still finishing work, if he's still in there working at the time. So, Pettit Jean River Homestead, howdy, howdy. Tim don't go back to work till October now. Oh my goodness. Wow, you're so fancy. I'm getting the Barndo Foundation started on the week of September 9th. Nice. That's awesome, Tim. Tim is bougie. We all know Tim is bougie. We love him for it, though. Bless him. Bougie Tim. Bougie Tim. I know. He probably makes the people at Sonic hand peel the grapes first before they make his cream slushy because he's so bougie. Those poor teenagers are back there going, oh, Mr. Roberts is here again. We have to peel it. I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing you. Yeah, so this week, I feel like I haven't gotten anything done. I did laundry and I did some YouTube business stuff this week and took care of a few other things. I had to troubleshoot. So the stereo on the TV went out while I was gone. And it's not the first time that's happened. And it's usually when they can't get it to work, it's because somebody hit a wrong button and I have to go through and refix it, or a wire got loose in the back somehow, because that happens randomly. So when I got home, anyway, I was troubleshooting it the last couple of days, and Mike thinks it's just not working at all now, that it just died because it's old. So he's either gonna, I still think it may be just this one cable that's causing the problem. He doesn't think so, but I feel like that might be the issue. It's the digital in, digital out cable, and I think that's what went bad. However, the reason he doesn't think it's that is because the TV the TV speakers did the weird noise thing at one point when it wasn't going through the stereo. But I think it was because that cable was still attached. I think it was still screwing with it, but I don't know. So, oh, the kitty's name, Shiloh Acres, is that was Marty that was up here, or Martine as we call him. We tease him that he's our Mexican cat, Martine, like Fluffy's buddy, because if you're eating a quesadilla in his presence, there is a tax. That cat won't eat anything else. I've tried to give him salmon. I've tried to give him like chicken. I've tried like anything else you offer that cat, unless it's ice cream, he will not eat it. Now, Bunko is a little garbage cat. I could give him anything and he will eat it. His favorite is, of course, salmon. When I make salmon, I do like the whole fillet with the skin on it. And then I cook the skin, and then I give some to the dogs, and I give some to Bunko. And that Bunko thinks that is just like high class living. He thinks that's amazing. He gets very excited when I call him in the evening to come up, because he pretty much knows that means he's getting some kind of a treat from something I cooked. But yeah, so that was Marty. So are canceled until further notice due to the new schedule with homeschooling. The kids were building projects. Continue. Gotcha. Yeah, I hadn't heard that. I'd watched a couple of their videos, but I didn't hear that. You know, it's okay if they are your grapes. That's right, Tim. That's right. I mean, I used to. Well, I didn't peel them, but when we had grapes on our old property, I processed them. You separate the juice and the pulp basically in the peel. I guess, would that be the peel of the grape? Sounds weird to say. It's not the rind. It sounds weird to say the peel of the grape, even though you would say I peeled a grape. I don't know. Sounds weird. Brian Wilkerson, hello. Spoiled kitty. He is a spoiled kitty. All my kitties are spoiled. Well, I have two, technically. I have Marty and I have Bunko outside. But then Frankie's got Brutus. He's her room kitty. That cat does not leave her room. It started out because Brutus was an outdoor cat. He was supposed to be an outdoor cat, okay, when we got him. And we've had him for, oh God, how old was Frankie when we got him? I don't know. We've probably had him like 7 years. Maybe not quite that long, maybe 6 years. And he was supposed to be an outdoor cat. And we all fell in love with him because he's got this quirky little personality, and he yells at you. He makes a weird meow. He's like, meh, meh, meh. He's weird. And so we brought him inside, and he fell in love with Frankie. He would follow her around. When she would get ready for bed, she'd be like, come on, Brutus, I'm going to bed. And he would just like follow her in the room and go to bed. And just, that was it. Like, that was her person. Or, yeah, his person, whatever. And then, but he had free reign over the house. Like he would be out in the house during the day, and he got along, you know, Marty at that point, was inside, and my cat, and they came together. They were rehomed together from where they lived before. And, so they knew each other, but they just, Marty was chill, but Brutus didn't like Mike. And so when Mike would get home from work, and like, you know how guys take off their button-down shirt and maybe hang it over the back of a chair or whatever, Mike was doing that one day, and Brutus just sprayed him. And Mike was like, that cat's going outside. I'm done. Like, I'm not getting sprayed anymore. And so Frankie was, of course, very upset. But he like lived by the pool. Like, he would come and do morning chores with me with the animals, and if I found a mouse or whatever, I'd give it to him, and he loved that. But he just like lived by the pool, and that was like his jam, right? That was all he did. When we moved here, he was supposed to remain an outdoor cat. I had the catio thing that we ordered that was going to sit outside and get him acclimated to the area before we started letting him out and all of that. Settle down, girls. And unfortunately, we didn't have time to build that, like, obviously, when we first got here the first day. We weren't just going to stick him outside. So Frankie was like, well, I can just put him in my room. Well, then that turned into like, well, can you just stay in my room, like, over the few days? Because, it was busy unpacking. We didn't get to that yet, whatever. And Mike was like, look, as long as he stays in your room and he seems happy to stay in your room and he doesn't feel like he's being just, penned up in too small an area, you can keep Brutus in your room. And that cat stays in her room. He comes out occasionally, like if she forgets and like leaves her door open, he'll follow her out. And every once in a while, after she leaves for school, she accidentally locks him out of her room, and I have to open the door, and he goes running right back in. He's got his food, his water, his litter box. It's air conditioned. He has like 4 different beds in there that she's made for him. He's very contented. Like, he's the happy cat. But anyway, so that's the story of the cats. That's a lot of information, but there it is. So, oh, somebody be having grandbabies. Lots of grandbabies. I don't have any of those yet, knock on wood. Not ready for that yet. Ah, that's not true, Tim. That's not true, Tim. He killed. Well, I know that first year that we were here, I watched him take that shot, and I happened to just see it by accident, and it was pushing it 200 yards with that Creedmoor because, well, you know, Tim, where the culvert is, it was right in front of the culvert on the side closer to the house, and he was basically where the birds are, like by the coop. And I looked out because I thought he was already back from hunting, but he wasn't technically. He was still coming back up. And he was crouched down there. And I stood and I looked for a minute to see what he was looking at. And then I saw the deer. And then I saw the deer just roll. Heard the shot, obviously, too. But so, yeah, that thing works pretty good. Yeah, Mike hasn't told me about all his grandbabies. I do tease him, though. I'm like, he had some life. He did some living before Sid came around. And so I always tease him that, like, everything else was just BS before Sid. So I tease him that, like, uh, what if we get a knock at the door one day, you know? But I think that time's passed. We've been together long enough now, and there was a long enough period from that time of his life to the time that I met him that if a kid was going to knock on the door, it would have happened by now. So I feel pretty safe in that. It's imaginary. That's true. It's an imaginary culvert. It used to be like, see, and I think David was the only person that ever saw it in its true form. Because he got here like right after we did for that visit. And that was when they say I bunny hopped the culvert because the culvert was like exposed, but you couldn't see it, if that makes sense. It was weird. And when we had hay cut that first year that we were here, in order to get the high boy out there, he took the tractor and like completely repaired the culvert so that you could like drive over it, and he widened it and he made it like safe to drive over. But apparently David and Mike from DD5 still have a problem getting over that culvert. They tried to eat it multiple times over there. So I don't know. You met your dad when you were 25? How did I not know that story? Unless you're pulling my leg, totally possible. I never know with you. That's right. Sugar the kids up and send them home. I think that is every grandparent's motto, Lila. I really do. I'll buy them a drum set and a kazoo and a recorder and then send them home with all their stuff. Yeah. Yeah, if a kid knocked on my door now, he would be in trouble. But yeah, like I said, if they were to knock on the door now, they would have to be an adult. So I think we're safe. I think we're safe. Oh, I did not know that. Okay, next time I see you, I'm gonna have to get the full story because I have never heard that story before. So that's interesting. It just never occurred to me to ask you if you hadn't met your dad till you were 25, I guess. But hopefully it was a good experience meeting him and not like I could have gone the rest of my life not having had met you. You never know. I know. The thing was, David already knew it was there because Mike hit it first. Well, and David knew it was there because he's been to the property more times than Mike, and he's been over that culvert a dozen times. So he knew it was there, and it's better than the first time that he went over it. So I don't know. I don't know what their excuse was that day. Just trying to drive off a cliff. I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's one of those things. I don't know. I mean, I think we can all agree that Mike from DD5, I think Mike from DD5 would agree to this. He's very accident prone. And it's not just that he's accident prone, he does things in such an energetic, like haphazard kind of way that I think he doesn't realize, like, he's like this whirling derby of flailing limbs, and sometimes he can't get all his limbs to coordinate at the same time, and then he eats it. And I think that's Mike's biggest problem when it comes to that stuff, you know? It's a good story. Yeah, you're gonna have to. Okay, next time we're together over a beer, Tim, gonna have to hear that story. Neil S. Hey Sid, sorry I'm late. Had to change out our well pump. Well, hopefully that went smoothly for you. Mike Birch, howdy, howdy. Yeah, I'm telling you. That's true. Mike was watching butterflies, not where he was going. That's true. Which is ironically almost in that same spot, although I didn't eat it in the culvert. I was a little bit ahead of the culvert. Is when I did that giant bruise on my leg because I walked into the grate on the side of the chicken tractor that we dropped down to keep things from digging into it. And I just punched my leg with the sharp part and scraped it all down. That thing took like, I think it was about 2 full months before it was completely healed. Didn't really leave a mark after that though. So that was good. Mike gets so excited that he forgets to be aware of his surroundings. 100%, 100%, man. I think that's very accurate. I always think of him as like an energetic puppy that is about to pee itself and can't make it outside in time. That's the energy that Mike brings to the room. Panic, chaos, but like fun. Like, you know what I mean? So like, but he's just like, no, he has so much energy, he doesn't know where to put it sometimes, I think. And me, I'm like, I have the opposite problem. But I'm older than him too. So there's that. Did Mike get the chicken coop and the Ethernet cable done while you're gone? No. He did move the poultry netting though. He did move them to a new spot again. So they could clear out a different area. And they did fix as far as I know, they completely fixed the roof on the shop because they had to clear it off and then patch a hole. It was like on the roof of the shop, which was like 20 feet in the air. They did that. And then they did a few other like little odds and ends of things that were like on his list, I guess, that he wanted to get done. But yeah. But no, he did not get those 2 things done. But the chicken coop is one of the next major things on the list. I think he wants to do a couple more things in the shop first so that they can pull Frankie's truck into the shop so that on like rainy days in the winter, they'll be able to work on it in there. But the coop is like neck and neck with that. We were kind of waiting. I had birds that were sitting on clutches. That's done with now. Unfortunately, they hatched out while I was gone, and like none of them made it. There were sightings, and then they were gone, and I wasn't here. So nature happened apparently, which is a bummer because I don't know. I was kind of hoping that one would take because it was an Orpington that was mothering them, and I guess she dipped out and just so. I did just call him a peeing puppy. I don't mean it to sound bad. Like it's more of just like a high energy thing. It's not a like, like when puppies are so cute and they're excited and they're like, don't have control of their limbs and they kind of fall down a lot and you know what I mean? That's Mike. 100%. Like my Mike is like an old dog that like doesn't want to get up if he doesn't have to, but like will protect you and bark at an intruder and attack if needed. Other than that, he just wants some belly rubs. That's the difference. That's right. That's right. DD5 Mike is definitely full of entertainment. 100%. He's going to be like, oh, are you talking about me? I know. I know. He's the Tasmanian devil. That's true. That's true. They don't have to control over their limbs or bladder. I know. I'm telling you. Well, I mean, in the same way that I called Mike a puppy, like Mike is like established, mature, can control, like, as far as I know, he can hold his bladder for a long time. I've never once had to clean up his urine. Well, that's not true. I do scrub the toilets. He's a guy. But so I guess I do it every week. I clean up his pee. I don't know. This conversation's taking a very strange turn. I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, it's like in the cartoons when they're trying to go 4 different directions at once. That sounds about right. Sounds about right, man. I'm telling you. Janky V, what's going on? Howdy, howdy. Yeah, so I mean, this weekend there's a lot that we want to get done. I think we're going to get some thunderstorms tomorrow. They're threatening it. In fact, I meant to look again to see because That was like a newer update that I heard on the radio on my way back. Oh, now it's saying Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, that's not convenient. Things I need to do outside. Well, we'll see. It's only like a 55% chance, so we'll see. We need the rain. It's so dry out here. We need the rain. But I've got too much stuff that we've got to film and do because, like I was saying, well, you guys haven't seen it yet. I filmed a sipping and spilling earlier, which I actually had to edit this one because midway through filming it, my phone overheated. So I had to film it in 2 parts, so I couldn't just upload it from my phone. So I have to render it when I finish with this live and then upload it for tomorrow. But anyway, where was I going with that? My brain just left the building, bro. Like, whew. Oh, is my phone overheated when I was doing that? And I was talking about something that I talked about in there. Now I don't remember. Well, shoot, I hope it wasn't important. My brain just hard left turn there, you know? Hard left turn. It is what it is. Yeah, he's like the old bloodhound. That's right. That's right. Is Jen in here? I didn't see her pop in. Oh, hi, Jen, if you're in here. Oh, she is in the house. Okay. I'm like, I didn't see her pop in, but Paul says she's here, so it must be true. Aw, always asks, how you doing, you old dog, you? Yep, that's right. I know. I'm telling you. I bet all the animals are excited to see you. Yeah. Beulah, I was kind of surprised. You know, she's very reserved. And she didn't like get excited, but she got excited for her. She's just very monotone. She's just a very strong, independent woman. So she's just like, oh, hey, you're here. Like, but that was about it. Like, it didn't get above a whisper. But Kusi lost his ever-loving mind when he saw me. And the goats were happy I was home. The birds, they seemed pretty happy, but also, I don't know if they cared that much. Yeah, so they're actually better than they were, Neil. Thank you. But yeah, that dry weather, and I guess maybe being on the sardine can in the air didn't help, for sure. But I definitely have some pressure in here happening, and I've been blowing my nose like it's a freaking trend. I do feel better today though, but I don't sound fabulous. So that's right, making dinner and doing dishes. As you should, woman. Get back in the kitchen. That's right, Jen. I'm just kidding. Oh. Where is your hubby, Mike? He is in his office working still. He's still basically clocked in at work. I know he had a real busy week last week. Seems like I know I've been saying that, I feel like every week. But he has been very busy lately, which is good. But, you know, also hard because then I end up doing lives by myself. So it's just what it is. He might pop out if he gets a chance in a bit, but we'll see. That's what, yeah, working. That's what the kids are calling it to him. Yeah, basically. Basically. That's true. Yeah, he works long days. He's in there. Usually he gets in there by, 9 o'clock Mississippi time, which is 7 a.m. California time. And then it's 6:30 now, and he's still working. And he might, some nights he might be in there till 8 or 9 o'clock, and some nights he might be out of there by 4. So it's just kind of depends. And this is, it's always that thing too, where this is the very end of the month. So they're wrapping things up for billing and whatever. So it's just, things get a little bit busier. So I have to tear Kenny Jr. apart again. Have to put new piston rings on. Oh man, that's a bummer. You finally got that all put together and now you got to rip it apart again? That's no bueno. Well, hold your spot, Lila. We will. So Jen, as long as you have some top shelf tequila handy, all will be well. That's right. It's never more than an arm's reach away, Glenn. It's always right there. It's never far. Although that is not generally her drink of choice. Usually she just goes for beer. But if we're out or something, she'll get, margarita or something. Or if we're doing shots or something like that. I actually had a shot while I was in California. We did, I didn't even tell you guys really about my trip. I did on Sippin' and Spillin', but my girlfriend Christy owns a bar out there. And one of the nights I was going to go to the bar that I used to work at back in the day, and Mike's band used to play at. And so I met some of my girlfriends for dinner, and then we went to the bar afterwards, which I left a little after 9 o'clock, which is when the band starts. And Christy was in a pool tournament, so I went and met her, which was just down the street. Went and met her at that, and then she was like, well, you got here just in time. We just finished. Or like literally, well, no, that's not true. She finished right when I was there. We were chatting for like 5 minutes, and then the one gal made the winning shot and cleared the table or whatever. And so she was like, okay, we're going to go back to the mining company. So went back to her bar and we had our celebratory shot. And I was like, well, I wasn't on the team, but she's like, I still want you to do a shot with us. So I was like, all right, it was early enough in the night and I'd only had like 2 beers. I was like, sure. And it was like, I forget what it was called. I think, she called it a yummy, and it was one of her concoctions. Christy always used to make up these amazing recipes for different shots and drinks and stuff. And so I was like, I haven't had a Christy concoction in a minute. Let's give it a whirl. So had one of those, did the shot. It was one of those big shots too. She, when it's a mixed shot, you put it in the small rocks glass, like old school, anyway. So that was fun. And so we did that, and then we had a few beers, and we ended up staying till 4 in the morning. The bar had closed down. She and I were sitting in the back still talking, and I got to meet a Belgian Malinois. It was someone's service dog, and it was the most beautiful, amazing dog to see it working right there, like next to me. And then so it was fascinated with my shoes. It kept smelling my shoes, and it kept coming back to me. The only thing I could figure is, it smelled all the animals on my shoes. All my dogs and the goats and the chickens and, everything. So it kept like smelling my shoes and then licking my leg and smelling my shoes and licking my leg. And so finally I was chatting with the guy and I was like, can I please, like, I understand if the answer is no. And again, the only reason I asked this was because the dog was licking me and because I had seen other people pet it. And I was like, because it has the like no pet, I was like, is it okay if I pet your dog? Like, I understand if the answer is no. And he's like, no, go ahead. I just have that on so randoms don't, come up and mess with him. But he's like, you're fine. You can sit here and pet him. So I was petting on him. And he did say that he never gives the dog's name out. So nobody there knows the dog's name. All the commands are like physical commands. It's some verbal, but never with his name. So I have no idea what his name was, but it was cool. He is a project manager. So that is what he does. So, yep. Oh, that kind of shot. Yes, that kind of shot. A drinky shot. Tim got a light bulb. That's right. I know. Mike sits in an ATM machine all day and hands out money for a living, right? I'm sure that's what he thinks. Newsom, I mean. Oh, I must have missed what you said. Oh, Brian, he's a project manager. Yeah. I'm all for slamming Newsom, but I missed what the slam was. I'm all for slamming that guy and what he's done to that city. It's bad. Like, I knew it had gotten bad, and I knew it was bad the last time I was there, but holy moly. Oh, Jen, wait till I tell you. The whole city's ripped apart. It's crazy. Yeah, it's just crazy. They ripped up all the roads, and they're doing this thing where they're sucking water out of the bay and running it under the city. It's insanity. So my first experience in Canada and shots. Not that the folks here would get upset. I just don't want YouTube to hammer down. Okay, understood, Shiloh. Understood. I look forward to the explanation. It's the Ridge Life sticker for sure. That's right. That must have been what made your Kenny Jr. breakdown. Has to be. Has to be. Insurance against poor operators. Oh, yeah. Yep. He's great at that. It's beer 30. I thought it was always beer 30 in your world, Jen. You're slacking. Yeah, San Diego is not the same as when we grew up. That's true, Kathleen. It's, there's still parts of it that are very much like, oh yeah, but like downtown. Now I stayed downtown, which I normally would not do at all. I don't even go downtown. Jen knows. I don't even like to go downtown for anything. And like, unfortunately, like if you're going to go to any concerts or shows or anything like that, a lot of times they're downtown. Um, so when Christy and I would go to a concert or a show, her son, who unfortunately is no longer with us, he used to drive us and pick us up after the concert. So he was like our Uber downtown because he doesn't mind driving downtown and he liked it and he'd go get something to eat down there or whatever and then come get, the two old ladies and pick us up. So he was always so sweet about it too. But, I don't like downtown's just kind of sketch, especially as a woman by yourself who's traveling in the air, who couldn't bring a gun, who couldn't bring a knife. So, anyway, luckily it's one of those hotels where I literally like drive up to the ballet booth and hand them my thing and then go straight in the hotel. And everything was key card access. So like nobody could just walk into the lobby. You had to have a key to get in. So, as far as safety goes, that part wasn't bad. But having to drive in and out of downtown, I was seeing all of the homeless encampments. Like it was as bad as I've ever seen it and worse. And downtown is like a party area every night of the week now. It used to just be like on the weekends or if there was like a Padre game or something. Now it's like every single night is chaos down there. So, but I stayed down there because we have a timeshare, and that's where I traded my week to. It was the only spot that could take me. The only other places that I could have stayed, there was like only 2 days left. So it was like, well, I either go for a week or I go for like overnight, and it doesn't make sense to go to California for overnight. So that's why I stayed downtown. But I am a party pooper. I know, Jen. Story of my life. Yeah, but I did stay up till 4 in the morning with Christy. You'll be proud of me. Look at who's here. Y'all were just talking smack, and look who's here.
Who? Someone's talking smack about me?
Well, if Tim's in the room,
well.
Everybody was like, "Where's Mike?" So I'm like, "Well, he's working, or he's just telling me he's working, and he's sitting there going like this. I don't know."
Oh, so, he's got a live
premiere at
7.
He wants you to watch it.
Okay, I will try.
Yeah.
I may have just made a commitment, but we'll see.
A commitment for 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
Doing what?
Having a drink with Ross.
Oh, of course. Okay. Why am I not surprised? They haven't had a beer together in a while.
In weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The diva's here. That's right. Come on, Paul.
Well, you could have it playing in your pocket on quiet at least, and just check in once and say, "Hey, I'm here watching," but
yeah,
you'll get the view out of it at least, Tim.
Yeah. We haven't talked in a while, Tim. I haven't talked to David in a while either.
Hey, aren't you guys going on that trip in like a month?
Yeah. We're last minute kind of people.
I know. It just occurred to me. I was like, hey, aren't you leaving soon?
Not soon. It's like around your birthday. Good timing.
I know. Frankie might be gone that weekend now too.
Really?
Yes.
Where's she going?
My birthday weekend. It might just be Beth and Jen and I.
Auntie Ann, that's right.
Which I'm fine with that too, but I think the kids are going on a trip because it's a 3-day weekend. But you're not going that actual
No, we're not going the 3-day weekend.
Oh, you're going the weekend after, I think.
We're not going the I'll have to go look.
Yeah, I don't remember what date it is, Tim. I think it's the weekend after. I think it's like the 17th or something like that. I don't know. You and Ryan and your loofah and soap bars ready. Hey, as long as you don't...
project manager, and half of my projects are only halfway done.
Well, that's because it's like, you know, it's just like the dentist whose kids' teeth are a mess,
Let me
or,
look.
you
Look.
know,
No, but this is a serious subject. Let me
uh-oh,
explain.
uh-oh.
So, as a project manager, I'm currently managing about 75 projects, and many of these projects.
What, did we shave the mutton chops again? I'm just noticing that.
No,
When did we do that?
I didn't. They're not shaved. They're there. I shortened them a little.
Yeah.
Many of the projects that I'm working on, they haven't kicked off yet. They're approved. We're waiting on this, that, or the other thing. Many of them we've started. Maybe we've done a portion of the work. Maybe we're waiting on an outside dependency. We're waiting on another trade to do something before we can go in and do the next thing. Many of them are, getting close to the finish line, but we're waiting on, final painting or whatever. And then many of them might be in the closeout phase. But the reality is the sales team's selling new projects all the time. So I've always got new projects coming in. And I always have a bunch of projects that are in various states of completion. And until there's a requirement for them to move forward to the next state of completion, oftentimes they'll sit right here. And while there's something driving that, right? There's a client, there's an end user, there's, deadlines and whatnot. The reality is I always have a whole bunch of projects that are
That's
in
right, Shiloh.
various stages of completion, and I never have
I love
all
that
my
you're
projects
checking.
complete. That'll never have. If all my projects are ever complete, I'm out of a job, right?
So you're trying to give yourself job security in the marriage by
That's
having
right.
lots of projects unfinished?
That's right.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about right
alright.
now.
Okay.
Oh man.
I guess that's one method or one tactic.
Yeah.
Okay. How's it working for you?
I don't have the sniffles actually, although I kind of have the sniffles, but mine is completely just in my nose. It's pollen or something.
Mm.
So I definitely don't feel sick.
He's not playing the nose trumpet every 5 minutes like I am.
Nah.
Yeah, it's practice for work, Tim. All the
Yeah,
halfway started job.
that's right. My halfway started. They're
Hey,
not
I mean,
halfway started. There's no such thing as halfway
he
started.
likes to get him to about 85% and then squirrel
Yeah.
most of the time. But he did make, like, we got the fencing done for the goats, although we need to adjust that because every day this week.
Oh, that's going to be a change order.
Yeah, it's a change order. Every day this week, Dan has gotten into the old paddock.
Yeah.
From
Hey,
under
look,
the fence, and I've barricaded it as much as I can. And
I completed the scope of work in the time frame and the budget that was required.
Yeah.
If you're gonna increase the scope, I'm gonna have to increase the budget and the time frame.
If I give it a kiss, does that make it work?
That falls under budget. Yeah.
Okay.
I accept that kind of payment.
I'll wait till I'm not snotty though.
Yeah.
I'll wait till right after I blow my nose and I'm not gonna drip on you. What was I gonna say? My brain just stopped braining.
Couldn't tell you. Hamster fell off the wheel.
It did. It's buffering right now. I have too many tabs open. I need to close some tabs. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you right now. That's my world. Some days it's death by meeting. I was in meetings the entire day.
That's why I didn't tell you when I left to go get Frankie and go to church, because I could hear you were in a meeting, and I was like, well, he'll figure it out.
I already had a full schedule. I logged in this morning and looked at my Outlook, and I was like, meeting starting at 8:00. I logged in at 7, so I had a little bit of time to catch up on some emails. And I had a meeting at 8:00, and I had a meeting at 10:00, and I had a meeting at 11:00, and I had a meeting at 1:00.
Sorry, I'm trying to pop my ears.
But meanwhile, other meetings popped up that had to happen. So I fit them in between, and I was in a meeting, not the same meeting, but I was in a meeting all day on Teams, and so much stuff needed to get handled today that didn't get handled, and that's
Frankie's the assistant project manager around here. That's true.
Around here?
Sometimes she is the project manager around here.
Around here, I'm the director of project management, and she's the project manager.
Yeah, and sometimes she keeps him, like, she'll tell him no, like, we need to do this, and he'll be like, oh,
like a good project manager.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you're not wrong. Yeah, and that makes sense.
That's right.
Let's see, I just saw something. Hold on. That's more kids.
Back to good. Go this way.
Jose wants more kids. Frankie wants a brother or a sister. Yeah,
Yeah,
that ship sailed, homie.
Who's talking that
That's-
bullshit? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm past that side of 40. I'm not doing that.
I'm past that side of sanity. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Who's looking for a replacement engine for what?
I mean,
I
can you
missed
imagine
something.
if we tried to have a kid now, it would probably come out all wrong, like overcooked, because we're so old. My eggs are probably already hard boiled.
I don't even.
Like, it would not be.
I don't even
would not be
want.
good.
I don't even want to think about diapers.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about the terrible twos.
See, I could do that. Again.
No.
2, she was an angel. 3 and 5, I was ready to hold her head under the bathtub water.
Seen any good bucks down here? Actually, no. Frankie and I were talking about that the other day.
Comfortable, Marty.
We have seen a lot of deer, especially last week. It cooled the
I saw
temperature.
a fox today.
Yeah, you told me.
Well,
I see fox all the time.
Oh, well, this one just stood there. Wasn't running or anything.
It cooled down last week, and that temperature change got the deer moving. And man, there were deer everywhere. And like last night, I was driving home from town at about, what time did I leave church? Like
I think you got home
8:30?
about. I thought you got home at 8:30.
Maybe I got home at 8:30. Anyway, it was just after dark, and like deer every 200 yards on the side of the road for 12 miles. But Frankie and I were talking about that the other day. I mean, we have not been seeing any bucks. I think we saw one little forked horn.
I've seen does like crazy.
Yeah.
That's all I've seen in the yard is does.
Do we have elk down here? No, we do not.
No.
I
love
elk.
elk.
A little south. That's a lot south for elk.
We need to be further north for that.
No, it's not Frankie's cat.
Oh, Tim says Mike sees foxes all the time. He sees Sid.
That's right. That's right. You go, Tim.
Appreciate you, Tim.
You know how to play the game.
He said with respect.
Oh, I wasn't offended by him calling you a fox. He's just being honest.
Oh, well, thank you. He's really trying to butter you up so you watch that premiere, I think.
Right. 6'5" Creedmoor comments. Yeah, actually, speaking of that, Frankie and I did shoot our deer rifles Saturday. Saturday we had a nice shooting day. We set the range up. We shot a bunch of rifles.
In Oklahoma?
Really? Parts of it, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Texas too.
Sir, why are you like this?
It's not so much a southern or northern thing. It's a more of a winter thing, right? Higher elevations, but what's up, Marty?
He's
Trying to get some love.
All up in there.
Anyway, Frankie finally did some practicing at 200 yards, which I know is outside of your range, Tim. But she finally
has to be in a tree stand and shoot right down into it.
She finally did some shooting at 200 yards with her 6.5. And dude, her grouping at 200 yards was like inside it, like it was about 2 inches. So I was proud. She's doing good. She's doing good. Better than venison. They're pretty good.
I do.
I mean, I've had elk. I do enjoy elk.
There was there's a gas station in California up in the Sierras, and one of my favorite things to get there was the elk chops. And so good.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, I always try. If I go somewhere and they have elk on the menu.
Elk in Eastern Tennessee.
Huh.
I'm from East Tennessee. I don't ever recall elk.
Maybe they migrated just like everything else. Maybe they're illegal.
I'm gonna have to Google that because I grew up in East Tennessee and there was no elk. But who knows? Yeah.
I can get a deer to come within 50 yards. I'm a real hunter. I don't need to take 300-yard shots.
That's cool. Yeah. I like to hunt the things that I hand feed too. Just makes me feel like whatever.
Oh, blessed. Oh, have mercy. Okay.
Yeah. No, I feel you, man.
Oh yeah, he said we have elk in Tennessee now. So maybe they're
now
they're new.
Is that a new thing?
Did somebody release them over there or something?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I need more information.
Yeah,
elk in Oklahoma are only in the wildlife refuge areas. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I'm at a loss. There was never elk in Tennessee, at least in East Tennessee where I grew up. So
Tim
I
says
don't
he
know.
doesn't name his deer.
Oh, fair enough. Um, can't use a telescope. He has to use a periscope. Right.
Yep. He keeps that right behind the screen door on the submarine, right? I think so.
Yeah. His deer stand is below ground.
He just waits for a deer to walk over him.
Fire torpedoes.
That's funny. Carl Lewis, good night and take care. Thank you. You too.
Oh yeah, there's elk all over in California, up in the Eastern
Yeah.
Sierras. There's like real mountains in
Oh yeah,
California.
when you're driving, like
real mountains.
Yeah, like when we would drive to Lundy Lake, there would be, pastures with, irrigation and stuff, and you just see a herd of elk going through.
10,000 feet elevation. I mean, Mount Whitney is like 11.5.
Yeah. Sounds right. Yeah.
They weren't. They moved some to the Smokies. Supposedly, they were there many. Okay, that makes sense because I'm from the Smokies, Blue Ridge area, and
moose in the Smokies?
No. They moved, relocated.
No. Shiloh Acres is saying plenty of moose in the Smokies of Tennessee. Never of elk out there though. I didn't know there was moose there.
We're gonna have to fact check that because there ain't no moose there neither.
That don't seem right.
I mean, look, unless they've moved. Look, the only thing we had was whitetail deer, black bear,
and hogs.
And not even really hogs.
I thought you had javelinas out there.
Or no, javelinas are a western
that's the
thing.
What's the one you have out
there?
There
was a little bit of hogs, but nothing like nowadays like we have. Yeah, whitetail deer.
Whitetail deer
and black bear. Anyone else trespassing on the pasture? That's a good question. I haven't put cameras up down there, but it's getting close enough to fall that people are starting to investigate where they plan on deer hunting, whether they belong there or not. And I think that's what's been going on. So I need to get some cameras down there. Faux show. I don't really have the time nor the money to be building fences, but I have cameras, so I just need to deploy one.
Deploy a camera.
Yeah.
Y'all should see this cat. He's just like draped across my lap with his leg over my.
Yeah, everybody's getting overrun with wild hogs. It's a thing, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's too bad. We're lucky so far, right here where we are. Like, we haven't had a hog problem, but you go 10 miles any direction, and they're just getting tore up.
But there we have Yacht, so he takes care of it.
That's right.
He tries to keep it under control anyway. Does his best, as best he can.
Yeah, but I mean, there might be a few other trappers around here, but Yacht is like the only one really right around here, and he's dealing with hogs. He's dealing with armadillo problems with people getting armadillos in their flower bed. He's dealing with beaver problems. He's doing full-time trapping everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
100%. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Mike just used buckets of rabbit poop to block off silver like Tim does for his property.
I don't even know what that means.
Buckets of rabbit poop, but we don't have rabbits, so
yeah,
we don't have any rabbit poop.
Might get Tim to send you a couple of trail cameras. He has enough. Hey, I mean, you can't have enough. Well,
I mean, I guess if you had one on every single tree.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you got 5 acres and you got,
47 cameras, that's a lot.
47 is her favorite number. Have y'all ever noticed that?
I say a lot.
Go back. I challenge you. Go back through the last 5 lives and tell me how many times in the last 5 lives she said 47.
I say a lot.
Probably more than 47 times.
Probably. Yeah. Anyway, I feel like we should wrap it up because Tim's doing his premiere at 7.
Well, we definitely need to wrap it up.
And he has to fix his hair.
It's 6:57. Well, they're not going to see his hair because it's a premiere. They're only going to see the words that he types.
I'm teasing. It's a
But
joke.
yeah, it is 6:58. Tim's premiere. Somebody post that again, would you please? A link to Tim's premiere.
Ago, but yeah, go check out.
We got
Tim's
111
premiere.
people in here. So he should have at least 111 people in his premiere. Oh, 110. As soon as we started talking about it, we started losing people.
We lost somebody. See?
Yeah.
They were getting ready to watch it. But yeah, guys, we appreciate
There it is.
There you go. Yeah, there's the link for it. Go check
Yep.
out Tim's premiere. Go show him some love. Tell him to get a real gun.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with real.
No, I'm teasing.
I'm not mad at his gun.
I'm
He's just mad at mine.
I know. I'm teasing.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then after that, you got MT Homestead, and then Brian at Vineyard Farmhouse, and all that good stuff. So,
That's right.
all right, guys. I hope you have a great, amazing rest of your night. And as always, stay blessed, and remember,
Safety's off.
safety's off.
Except over at Tim's place. He doesn't know how to take the safety off.
Oh, Lord have mercy. These boys. Hot mic.